Hi, it's John at C Nation, and you are tuned into the Kush Journals. Join me and my occasional guests each weekday as we discuss all things cannabis in the great state of Utah. Hey, it's John at C Nation, and you are tuned in to the Kush Journals. Say hey, Jules.
Hey, Jules. Always. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Oh, I bet they're doing well. And I say that because we're doing well too.
Yes, we are.
So, well, maybe a little on the tired side. Although I feel like I got a good night's sleep last night. We got home, I just crashed.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'll bet I was out cold by 9:30. God, I tucked Rex in. Phew,
yeah.
Gone. So, why were we so tired? Well, we were gone for a week, weren't we?
Yeah.
We had a quick stop in Las Vegas. We had a longer stop in Oakland, but we are here to talk about the quick stop in Las Vegas.
It was awesome.
It was a thing that I don't think I've really done before.
Yeah.
I certainly don't go to beautiful people parties. I would feel out of place for starters, but I just don't even roll with that crowd. So, yeah, we just don't do that. But to cut right to the chase here, why were we in Las Vegas? Well, we were invited to the launch party of the collaboration between Ignite Cannabis Company and Bow Vaping. It lived up to every expectation that we had. Of course, there were beautiful people there. Of course, there were beautiful products there.
Yeah.
Of course, there were beautiful hors d'oeuvres there. Man, I had some sliders that were to die for. They were so good. Give me that recipe, please. They held this at Tao, which is a nightclub in the Venetian. And it was really super nice. I mean, this is like a 3-story nightclub, 3 floors that it was just jammed. It was just jam-packed. But it looks like where we were, Jules, that's probably roughly reserved for private parties up there. It wasn't, It didn't seem like it would be the spot where you'd set up tables, and though it had a bar in there and whatnot, it really looked like it was for private parties.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this was. So a quick shout out to Blaze PR. They represent Ignite Cannabis Company. We were there to speak with Ignite's founder, Dan Bilzerian.
Yes.
And we got to, probably not as long as we wanted to. And we'll circle around to that conversation that we got to have with Dan, but I was really impressed with him. And I mean, I wasn't unimpressed before we got there, but sometimes when it comes to these, you know, these more famous, big personality, big money guys, you know, they're just the name on the company. They're just the bankroll behind it. Well, he might be those two things as well. This is a guy that is seriously involved in his company. We asked him a couple of questions, and his answers were just really incredible. They were well thought out. Clearly, he's got way more to do with Ignite Cannabis Company than, like I said, just a pretty face. But we showed up there on time. You know, we were asked there to be a little bit early because, well, you know, the night can get away from superstars when they're at private parties. Perhaps that happened. We left after we handled our business. We weren't really there to loiter. We were certainly grateful for the invitation, but we were there for business, and we handled our business and got out. But shortly after we got there, Matt introduced us to Shannon. Shannon is the Chief Operating Officer of Ignite Cannabis Company, or for Ignite rather. It was a great conversation.
We had about, 20 minutes
Yeah,
with him?
we
It was
did.
very awesome.
So we're going to, that's what we're leading into immediately is that 20-minute conversation that we had with Shannon. And I won't really recap the things we talked about. Oddly enough, these are all the things I would have talked to Dan about, but I was glad that Shannon was there to have this conversation with us because we weren't getting 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we got about 2 minutes of Dan's, which was awesome. We wanted to go live, but we didn't have the time to go live. And
and it was loud in there. I mean, they had the thump, thump, thump industrial type music going, and, just loud enough that it drowned out conversations around us, but we could hear ourselves chat. And it was great. But, we had an opportunity to speak with Shannon about some real matters of business pertaining to Ignite, their launch, their expansion, why we were there, with Bo Vaping. And I want to say I'm really impressed with the joint, the joint marketed, the joint branded, the collaborative product that the two companies have put together. So if you're unfamiliar with Bo Vaping, they have typically been in the nicotine vaping space, that you can go get at any smoke shop in your hometown. Whether it's, liquid juice, there seems to be much different than the liquid juice. It's pod based, a little battery that various flavored pods can just snap in and out of. You could pick yourself up half a dozen of different flavors or whatnot and roll with those and not have to keep changing juices or keep changing devices, to change your flavors. The packaging was sleek. The battery is awesome and it's powerful.
When it's small enough to fit in your pocket and to be discreet. It's not like those big, huge vapes that you go out there. It's a smaller vape.
It's true, and you're not going to be blowing these big,
huge clouds,
diesel truck clouds.
Yeah.
It's not that. This is very discreet packaging for what I'm going to say is discreet use. I mean, if you drop this thing down on a big, fluffy bedspread on your bed, you might lose track of it. You might have to clear the bedspread just to find it. But it is. It's black. It's sleek. It's gorgeous. The battery's powerful. One thing, Jules, you were commenting on a few days down the road, we used their products quite a bit after we left Las Vegas and headed up to Oakland, was the longevity of the amount of juice that was in the pod there, the extract.
I thought I would maybe had smoked half of it or at least all of it, and I look at it and I was like, just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. And I was really surprised. I was amazed with how much was still in there.
Yeah, not every single time did I turn around and there you were using it, but you were using it to an obvious amount. I kind of thought the same thing too, and we were fortunate. We, they encouraged us to, to grab more than a couple of those pods. They had plenty of them there, and of course they want everybody to use them. They don't mind that friendly media types like us get to use them too, because we're right here talking about them.
I want to sample the product to be able to talk about the product.
Yeah, for sure. And we've sometimes had terrible things to say about products that we've sampled. So we just say it the way we like it. The one thing that I think I could live without, and it's funny because Dan Bilzerian mentioned the very same thing. Their product packaging says this product contains nicotine on it. I'm sure that's a pre-launch packaging. They're not quite in the stores yet. I want to say the 1st of November-ish. Don't quote me on that. We can find out the information. But, the Bo Vape packaging does say this product contains nicotine and has the appropriate warnings. When you open up the package, you can see that it comes with a pod. It would be filled with a nicotine vape product. So that's just standard packaging for Bo. But Dan mentioned that he just hates all things tobacco related. But he saw the partnership with Bo Vaping to be an extraordinary opportunity to get the premium quality Ignite CBD products quickly into, I'm going to guess, thousands of locations around the country in a well-known brand. People that don't live in dispensary cities, people that maybe you've got to be 21 to go into a dispensary and you're not quite, which is stupid for CBD, trust me, but if they sell any cannabis in there, you can't walk in.
Yeah.
If they sell any THC products, you can't walk in unless you're 21. Well, unless it's strictly a medical joint. But It makes these readily available, without jumping through the dispensary hoops, which sometimes is ID at the door and sometimes paperwork, and it goes on and on. And they saw this as a really terrific opportunity to quickly get their products out nationwide, for people to, I think, literally to make a choice between a nicotine vape product and a CBD vape product. We're hopeful that people choose the CBD over the nicotine for obvious reasons, but I'm here to tell you, this is premium CBD.
Yeah.
We've tried a lot of products along the way. We've tried vape pens from here and there, some that have been given to us, some that we've purchased, and they've all been pretty good. Sometimes strange flavors, sometimes strange aftertastes, sometimes an inconsistent experience with a gob of smoke one time and not so much the next time, and not the case here. They have this tropical that I get a real coconut flavor from, but if you've got a more discerning set of taste buds than I do, you could probably pick out all sorts of things, coconuts and oranges and bananas and all these tropical fruits that are in there. Man, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It is so delicious. And the other one, which happens to be roughly my favorite flavor of everything, is blood orange.
Blood orange is delicious.
And it is, of course, our first introduction to the Ignite vape products. We're down in Anaheim a few weeks ago, and we got their vape pens. We spoken about this in a previous podcast, but we got their air draw disposable vape pens, and I got the lavender for calm. Julie got the bubble gum for no way, that tastes just anxiety, right?
Yes.
I just say that because everybody that's tried it has just been blown away.
Yes, the flavor they want to take away. They want to just take my pen and just walk away, and I'm like, give it back, it's mine. Like, I got it for a reason and it's working, don't take it from me. And so I just have to say, I tried their vape pen, that bubblegum one, at the Dan Bazarian Ignite party,
right?
Because I had a lot of anxiety, but when I tried it, my anxiety just went out the roof. Like, it was gone. And I just want to say they have amazing products. If you do suffer with anxiety, try it.
Well, and that, just like you said, that was the reason you got that, and bingo, it worked. I picked up the lavender one down in Anaheim, not for anxiety, but to calm myself down, particularly my hyperactive brain later at night when I'm trying to go to bed. Lavender's good for that. CBD's great for that. This is the number one product I have ever tried for those purposes. And it really works. It really does calm me down. I still struggle to fall asleep sometimes. I really do have quite a hyperactive brain, but without having my senses dulled, so I can't think clearly any longer, I can still feel myself calming way down. My brain still wants to go, but it doesn't leave me it doesn't leave me stupid. It doesn't leave me anything like that. I can still think the thoughts I want to very clearly, but I am way calmed down. So anyway, I guess we could pimp their products all day long, including my prized possession hat that they gave me. I told Todd Thompson in an interview on Friday I don't think I'd taken it off, and he just chuckled. It's odd what we kind of view as prized possessions in this industry, but I kid you not, that Ignite Cannabis Company hat is on my stupid head 24/7. I love it. I'm a freaking walking billboard for Ignite. So anyway, let's take our listeners to this interview with Shannon. Let them get a real feel, right from the horse's mouth, as they say, the Chief Operating Officer of Ignite Cannabis Company, what they're doing, how their launch went, what their future looks like and what they're doing with Bow Vaping. We'll be back after that. We were introduced to your company a couple of weeks ago down in Anaheim at the Canna Newswire Media Showcase that went on down there.
Cool, yeah.
Todd was down
there. Yeah,
exactly.
Josh was there.
It was a crazy madhouse.
I bet.
And we were able to spend about 10 minutes with Todd, and it was really quality time, but the noise level was so loud in there, we didn't get great audio.
I heard that.
We did a wrap-up podcast when we were done down there, and we pimped your company for about 4 minutes.
Oh, cool.
Because my wife told me not to wear your Ignite hat tonight, but I've never taken it off.
It's a great hat.
I like your company. I really like your company a lot.
Yeah, we're having fun.
So 100 dispensaries in Cali, all boom.
We've got 100 dispensaries out of the gate, and it covers, I guess the concentration would be more in kind of the central California, but we go all the way up north and all the way down south.
Yeah, we looked at the map, so when we're done here, we're on our way to Oakland for 4 days of cannabis conference up there at New West Summit. So we're looking for your products in the Oakland area. I promise you we're going to go try them.
Good.
So you guys are only based out of California, you're not in any other states right now?
We're going to be rolling out next in Nevada, Arizona, and then we'll be going to Oregon.
Awesome. Okay.
So we had when we first started, everybody was like, hey, let's launch them all at the same time, and then the reality of trying to do that and do it really well is, let's do it, kind of in a measured approach so that we execute well. So California was first, obviously because we've got, the big home in Bel Air, and we got a lot of connections in LA. So we have, a lot of our partners are there, and so we decided California first. So now we'll be doing Nevada before the end of the year. Arizona will be happening right behind that, even though it's a med market. It'll be in kind of prep for the rec,
But that's got Arizona. That's about the hottest med marketplace in America.
It's my hometown.
Yeah, I lived in Phoenix for 20 years, and I just love it there.
I live in Paradise Valley, and so I live there and in Santa Monica.
So what's a launch look like in Arizona? I mean, as far as number of dispensaries, it's just red hot down there. What do you think?
I think we're looking at probably in the 35 zone, So it's not as obviously as many dispensaries there as California, but they do a lot of volume. They're really quality dispensaries. The people are really knowledgeable in them. I've been really impressed.
Yeah, I'm business partners with an investment banker, and he just loves Arizona because it's just red hot. So Nevada by the end of the month, I guess it's pretty easy to launch here in roughly every dispensary, right there.
They go out. We got 33 of them, I think, or 34.
Red hot marketplace.
It's a red hot market, and they're looking for products like ours, so it's going to be a good one.
So we walked away from the media showcase a couple of weeks ago with a couple of your air vape pens. I got the lavender, you got the bubble gum.
For the CBD?
They're awesome.
They're delicious.
And tell me how you guys won a High Times Cannabis Cup award 5 minutes after you launched your products.
I've been in consumer product manufacturing and startups for a lot longer than I'd like to admit.
Sure.
35 plus years. And it was complete luck and timing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we just got done making them. We were out sampling people. We kept tweaking the flavor to try to get it to really pop, because what we noticed from other ones is, they had a hint of flavor, but they weren't really good. And we came up with what we thought were good ones, and then we got a ping from the High Times people, and they said, hey, are you guys interested in exhibiting up at the Alaska? And I said, we don't have enough time to turn it around. They said, well, how about entering our contest? So we packaged them up, FedExed them up there, and I didn't think about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, we won. So it was, it's a good product.
Well, it's funny because they're terrific. And I'll tell you something that I always do. I always get the lavender. Not that I necessarily like lavender, but it's a strong aroma and a strong flavor. And it's a baseline because I try every company's lavender product.
I agree.
No joke. Yours is fantastic.
Thank you.
In 2 weeks, I'm about puffed through it. I mean, 5 or 6.
Well, we got to get you some more. We got to get you some more.
Neither here nor you're there, so you said you FedExed those up to Alaska from
Yes.
here. That is, I think, what a lot of our listeners are going to be interested. They can buy your products,
Right.
and you can ship them because they're hemp-based CBD, right?
Exactly. They're 100% hemp-based CBD, so we do ship nationally. So you can go online to ignitecbd.co and buy all of the flavors that you like, the lavender, the bubblegum, the tropical fruits, the blood orange is the number one seller.
I gotta try that because I always,
try the blood.
I know, I always get the relaxed brand. I'm a nighttime cannabis
Yeah, me too.
consumer.
Me too.
So I like the more relaxed and the calm in these things. But I was looking at that Lucid product today and I
Right.
thought, oh my gosh, I think I
Once
have
in a
to
while
try
we need
that.
some lucid. Right.
Right, yeah.
But we have people that literally, in the morning they do one thing, in the midday they do another, and at night they do another,
Right.
So they want kind of a pick-me-up, sort of, middle of the day mellow, and then at night they want to just chill and go to sleep. And
So
it works.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really a boondoggle in the recreational and the THC marketplace is that there's about 8 million different strain names these days,
Right.
and there's no indicas anymore. There's no sativas.
No, they're all hybrids. They're all hybrids.
and it's confusing for people coming to the marketplace.
I agree.
And some of those companies are now starting to create and market for effect.
Right.
In the hemp space, it seems to be much easier because, while there are strain names in the hemp, nobody cares. This
No.
is about effect. This
No, it
is
is.
medicinal.
Well said.
So, do you like that trend, the marketing and the creating for effect? It makes it very clear cut for.
Yeah, because I think that the rec market is moving away from just kind of the heady, hardcore users that
Right.
know a lot about the product and have done it for many years, and you've got a new audience, and they're starved for information. So we want to try to kind of be the knowledge brokers to let them understand, here's the different options you have, and align it with those effects, as opposed to, terpene. I mean, you need to call all that stuff out, but your average newer person to cannabis doesn't understand any of that stuff.
Well, and one of the largest marketplaces are obviously your older boomers and seniors.
Right.
They're not interested
No.
in even
No.
messing around with trying
Not
to
at all.
figure it all out. So I
agree.
like the effect marketing and creation too. Right.
You go to a dispensary now and you ask them about their flower, and they're going to try to point you to the heaviest concentration THC, and I'm like, well, dude, you give that to a person that hasn't really smoked before, and it'll knock
lay
them
'em
off
out.
their stool.
Right.
They'll be out, and I don't want that to happen.
Someone once told me there'll always be 30% THC cannabis because they'll always be college freshmen.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy, and
It is a good-
it's roughly true.
But I think there's some product that can be sold to people that want to just kind of take the edge off.
Agreed.
Like having a beer. And they don't want to get knocked on their butt. They're not trying to get blasted. They just kind of want to take the edge off.
Hey, let's talk about expansion and kind of the nuts and bolts of this in the world that we actually live in.
Right.
At some point in time, the federal government's going to step away from all of this.
Oh, for sure.
Expansion right now has got to be really trying because of crossing state lines, and
It
you
is.
either license out or you
Right.
set up new shop.
Right.
Is it time in your discussions about expansion? Are you having conversations yet about centrally, like hub and spoke type of central warehouse distribution, where you'll be able to do that, or is it still going to be? Is that still too early?
I think it's too early, and this is just my own personal opinion, but I believe that the revenue that this is generating for the states is so powerful and something that they're starved for that they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep it fenced in. I really think the idea of having a hub in Tennessee, because it's a great distribution spot, for mass merchants, that they're going to try to avoid that. Because if you look at California and the cost of doing business in California, the distribution wouldn't end up there.
No, it wouldn't.
So people
You're
would
right.
pick up and they'd head to states where they said, come on,
Yeah, for sure.
come on in.
Yeah.
And this is a product that not only creates new jobs, but it creates a revenue stream that they are desperate for. So I really think that even if the federal government says, okay, we're going to just toss it back to the states, you guys decide what you want to do, I don't see most of the bigger states letting go of of this revenue stream, which is what would happen if they open the borders.
Yeah, if everything were wholesale, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Just curious. So let's a quick question or two, perhaps, about your founder and chairman.
Sure.
Big money always matters when you're building up industries, but so do big personalities, don't they?
They do.
I mean,
they do.
Do you think? I mean, I think about some of the big personalities in the world, whether it's Mark Cuban in basketball or
Elon Musk,
Branson, Musk, all these guys, Snoop Dogg, Tommy Chong in this industry. And now Dan Bilzerian, of course. Do you think that really aids in like just building up an industry very quickly? Does it attract money? Does it?
Yeah, there's two sides to that. There's people who are the haters that say, oh, this is not good. Here's a guy that's got a crazy lifestyle. He does all this crazy stuff. Is that a good spokesperson for this industry that's trying to kind of shed the bad stories and the misnomers about, the category? Dan is doing this not because he's slapping his name on something like a celebrity endorsement. He truly believes in this. From a health standpoint, he's surrounded by professional athletes, MMA guys, people, hardcore people that are just beating themselves up, and all of them are taking these crazy pills and supplements that that are bad for them. And people are taking Ambien to go to sleep at night. They're taking pills because their knees hurt, their back hurts, and their elbow. And CBD and cannabis products are an alternative to that are effective.
Absolutely.
And he really believes this. He really, truly believes this. And that's why he wants to promote it. He wants to, eliminate the stigma associated with it, the confusion, and provide information that people, can understand what the real benefits of this are, and they can trust it. And that's what he wants to do.
Well, we're big fans of like premium products that come with no apology on the price point or anything like that.
That's Dan.
You can afford it or not afford it. That's just a thing. It is or it isn't. That's just great. We like the no apology approach because it's top shelf, and we think the industry really needs that because no matter what anybody says, it's a mid-shelf.
Oh, it is. It is.
Industry. It's just
it's such a delicious product. It's such a great product that the price talks for itself.
It does.
So
it does.
That's what I agree is that the price needs to be what it is because the product is amazing.
And Dan's lifestyle, he made a lot of money as a young guy. He lives high. There's no qualms about that. And not everybody can have a jet. Not everybody can travel all around the world. Not everybody can have that big house in Bel Air and have the nice watch and the big cars. But they can buy some product that Dan uses himself.
No question.
And they can feel that connection that way. And that's why I think that his reach and his approach is going to be so effective.
So this is an industry that has attracted a fair amount of empowered women, entrepreneurs, C-suite, invest right on down, right to the front lines in the dispensaries. And I imagine their opinions vary, as much as anybody else's about Dan. Have you run into any issues as far as opening in dispensaries or distribution or any of that where some companies have said no thanks? Or
I thought we would, and we haven't.
That's awesome.
No, we have not. And what's happened is that people are starting to see that there's more to Dan Bilzerian than his Instagram page. All right?
Sure.
The guy is, he's the most disciplined guy I know. You can't be in that kind of shape and be a partier. The two don't go together, right? He watches everything he eats, whatever he puts in his body. It's like a temple. He works out religiously. The guy is not, is not as rough as it looks like on Instagram. He also is really respectful to women. All right, and if you think about 25 million Instagram followers, and if he did something that to a woman, you think we would have heard about it by now. And I'm good. We would have heard about it.
Yes.
There's never been one word from from anybody that said I was with Dan and he tried to hustle me or he did something that I didn't like. Not one time.
He seems like, why would he even have to?
He doesn't, and that's what he'll tell you. If you ask him, he'll say, look, I don't need to do that.
For sure.
If I meet someone and there's a connection there, I let them come to me. I don't try to force anybody to do anything. And all those girls, I mean, he's not, he's hanging with them. It doesn't mean that it goes any further than that with all those girls.
No, we get all of that.
Yeah,
we understand persona versus,
And believe me, I have 4 kids. Okay, and I have 2 daughters.
Right.
And when we had a mutual friend, and I met him, and the guy said they need someone with your operational background to come in and help commercialize this product line and drive Dan's, vision. I kind of stopped and I said, I got to meet this guy. Because when I looked at it, I thought, whoa, So I went and met him, I sat down, we had multiple meetings. I came away, I told my wife, I said, this guy is not just that guy on Instagram. And, she trusts my judgment. She said, okay.
Well,
and I think on Instagram he kind of has to keep that persona up because he became instant famous.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they want. If you look at his engagement, the number of views on his videos and things, it's millions. Of him in a hot tub or something. And they're like, oh my gosh, So that he keeps them involved, and then he's going to use that to drive awareness and educate people about the cannabis industry. It's a pretty good,
I saw one of his posts the other day. The only thing that he cares about right now is his cannabis company and his cat.
That's Slither.
So, Shannon, tell us what brings us here tonight. What's going on between Ignite and Bo Vaping?
Well, this is awesome. So, we met Bo, and Bo was really interested in trying to bring the CBD product to the masses.
Okay.
And, we focus obviously in the cannabis industry, so we're, dispensaries, licensed, facilities in certain states. They're focused on mass through C-stores, all the little convenience stores, through your mom and pop shops, smoke shops, and we came together to take our phenomenal CBD product and marry it up with their unbelievable vape product.
Right.
So we're launching with 2 flavors out of the gate, our tropical fruit and our blood orange, and this will be available in another 45 days in thousands of stores so that you can buy a vape pen, and rather than a nicotine pod in it, you can pop it out and put a CBD pod in it.
Well, that's actually awesome. This is going to bring a whole crop of consumers to Ignite.
It is.
That
And
might
to
not
Bo.
otherwise get, to Bo for sure. They're already in that space.
They are.
You guys are in an 18 or a 21 plus space, primarily speaking.
Right.
This is really.
It's really cool.
This is really cool.
And we got a whole bunch of different things we're working on with them that we can't talk about yet, but
fair enough.
But we're trying to broaden the distribution, get more people access to what we think is basically a miracle.
So I see a lot of their products, even the stuff that here talks about nicotine, contains nicotine.
Right.
The products that you're doing with them do not contain.
No,
those are
our,
CBD pods
those are
for
CBD pods.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I guess except for everything you told us about, what's in the future for you guys? New products, new stuff coming all the time?
We've got some line extensions we're working on. We're looking at for in the sports arena, for salves and creams.
Nice.
We're looking at the drinks like we talked about, protein powders. We've got some work in the pet arena right now as well.
Beautiful.
So the goal will be to have a broad product offering that crosses a lot of different applications and can help a lot of people. But the key is we got to educate everybody.
Yes.
All right, Shannon, we took about 20 minutes of your time, so really appreciate it. Thank you very much for the information.
So that was Shannon Bard, Chief Operating Officer for Ignite Cannabis Company. And Jules, he was a blast to chat with, wasn't he?
He was probably my favorite that whole entire night. He was very informative and just a great guy.
He was. I mean, we sat there. I mean, yeah, we're not the great big media outlet on the planet, and he gave us 20 minutes of his time. And I'll tell you what, if he was annoyed or put out, it never showed through. We're always cognizant of the amount of time we take with, with executives of companies. We weren't the only people there wanting to chat with them. And we did see throughout the rest of the night while we were there that he had a microphone in his face from a few other people too. But yeah, it was a great conversation. And that's a guy that just knows his company well. He knows how they started, what they're doing, and where they're going, and that's exciting. We've interviewed people sometimes, or at least had conversations with some people sometimes who should really readily know these answers, and sometimes they don't. But
that's that was me.
It's not. Don't listen to her. But that was great. I really, Shannon, thank you so much for your time. If you happen to listen to this podcast, it was really joyful, and it was actually really meaningful for us. The information was rock solid. Everything we say about your company, we mean it. We do like your company. I do love your hat. I'm not even kidding. Kush Journals is a copyrighted broadcast of the South American Gold Corporation. We appreciate your likes and shares on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.